take your English to the next level. You're going to listen to 4 teachers giving advice on how to take your English to the next level. The language used is highly advanced. So, grab your dictionary and be ready to take notes of all new words you come across. By the end of this video, you will have learned a lot. Teacher 1.
Greetings, my dear students, and welcome to this pursuit of excellence in the English language. Allow me to offer a few reflections on how you might, with diligence and dedication, take your English to the next level. Learning a language, as you have likely discovered, is no small feat. It is a journey fraught with challenges, but also rich with rewards, and I hope to guide you in making it as fruitful as possible. To begin with, let us acknowledge a fundamental truth: slow and steady wins the race. While it is tempting to seek shortcuts, mastery of English requires persistence. Dedicate even a modest amount of time each day to your studies, whether reading a chapter of a book, listening to a podcast, or jotting down new expressions. The key is to keep at it without allowing yourself to slack off. Success in language learning, as in all pursuits, lies in the accumulation of small but consistent efforts. In addition, you must embrace mistakes as stepping stones. Do not fear mistakes, for they are, in truth, your greatest teachers. Every slip of the tongue or error in grammar is a step forward if you seize it as a learning opportunity. As the proverb goes, a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. Engage in conversations, write essays, and participate in discussions. While doing so, you may feel as though you're swimming against the tide, but know this: progress is impossible without practice. Practice makes perfect. Another thing that you should take into account is that you have to expand your vocabulary mindfully. To elevate your English, you must cultivate not only breadth, but depth in your vocabulary. Focus on words in context. Learn collocations, idiomatic expressions, and phrasal verbs. For instance, instead of merely knowing the word decision, recognize the collocation, make a decision. Instead of simply regret, explore the phrase live to regret. Such mastery will lend your language a natural, native-like quality. Here's a tip: keep a vocabulary journal. Write down phrases that catch your ear, and try to use them in your speech or writing. It's one thing to come across a new word, but it's quite another to internalize it and make it your own. Furthermore, you should read widely and deeply. Reading is, without question, one of the most effective ways to enhance your English. Yet, it is not enough to merely skim through articles or social media posts. Delve into literature, essays, and quality journalism. Reading widely introduces you to new ideas, while reading deeply helps you grasp nuances, idioms, and subtle turns of phrase. Consider this: every book you read is a conversation with its author, a chance to see the world through another's eyes. Reading maketh a full man, wrote Francis Bacon, and indeed, it will also make you a confident English speaker. Another thing you can do to take your English to the next level is listen actively, not passively. Listening is an oft-neglected skill, yet it is the bedrock of fluency. Seek out opportunities to listen to native speakers, not merely as background noise, but with deliberate focus. Podcasts, audiobooks, and films are invaluable resources. Notice how words are pronounced, how sentences are constructed, and how tone conveys meaning. When you listen actively, you pick up patterns that become second nature in your own speech. Additionally, you need to engage in meaningful conversations. There is no substitute for genuine interaction. Language is, after all, a social phenomenon. Seek out speaking partners, join discussion groups, or attend language exchanges. When speaking, don't hesitate to push the envelope and experiment with new expressions. As the saying goes, practice makes perfect, and in this case, it also makes permanent. Finally, reflect on your progress. Take time to take stock of your journey. Learning a language is as much about self-discovery as it is about mastering grammar and vocabulary. Reflect on how far you've come and where you aim to go. Set goals. but allow yourself the grace to grow at your own pace. In closing, I urge you to approach this endeavor with both patience and passion. Language learning, like life itself, is not merely about the destination, but about the journey. The English language, with its quirks and complexities, is a treasure trove awaiting your exploration. Embrace it fully, and let it enrich your life as it has enriched mine. Go forth with confidence, dear learners, for the best way to predict the future is to create it. And in creating your future, may the English language be your steadfast ally. Well, that sums up my thoughts on how to elevate your English skills. Keep learning, keep growing, and never lose sight of the joy in the process.
Teacher 2.
Greetings, my dear friends. Today, we embark on a discourse about language, a subject that lies at the very heart of human existence. If one were to ask, what is the essence of language learning? I would reply that it is no less than a journey into the structure of thought itself, the limits of your language, as Ludwig Wittgenstein brilliantly said, are the limits of your world. Therefore, by extending your mastery of English, you are not merely acquiring a skill, you are reshaping the boundaries of your understanding. To begin with, let us consider the word. A word is not merely a sound or a mark on a page. It is a tool. And like any tool, its meaning arises not in isolation but through its use. To learn a word is to grasp its function in the language game. For instance, one does not simply know the word contract. One must draw up a contract or honor a contract. It is the collocation, the habitual pairing, that gives a word life, as fire gives warmth to the hearth. Furthermore, to truly master English, you must engage with its words in their natural habitat, sentences, conversations, and contexts. You must not only learn the rule, but also play the game. In addition, let us consider the role of mistakes. In learning a language, mistakes are often seen as failures. I say, rather, that they are part of the form of life we call learning. To err is to participate. To stumble over a word is to wrestle with its meaning. When you make a mistake, you illuminate the edges of your understanding. So, embrace errors as a sign that you're immersed in the language, that you are actively engaging with it. Moving on, consider the importance of practice. Practice is not merely repetition. It is a process of discovering how language fits together, like the pieces of a mosaic. One might say, I will practice English, but what does this mean? Does it mean repeating verb conjugations by rote? Perhaps. But more fundamentally, it means engaging with the living, breathing organism that is English. Moreover, I encourage you to read widely, for in reading, you will uncover every nook and cranny of the language. Write often, for in writing, you impose structure upon thought. And above all, speak. Language is, above all else, a communal activity. It is in dialogue that the words find their fullest meaning. Similarly, listening is an art, and like all arts, it requires discipline. To listen to English is not merely to hear it. It is to attend to it, to discern its patterns and cadences. When you listen to a podcast or a conversation, notice how the words slot together. Observe the rhythms, the pauses, the stresses. Language is music, and to master it, you must first learn to appreciate its melody. Following on from this, let me address you as philosophers of language. When you encounter an idiom, for example, a bitter pill to swallow or a fish out of water, do not merely memorize it. Contemplate it. Ask yourself, why do we say this? What picture does it paint? Language is a mirror of the world, and in understanding it, you understand the culture and history that gave birth to it. Finally, let us reflect on the purpose of this endeavor. Language learning is not a finite game with winners and losers. It is an infinite game, one we play for the sheer joy of participation. When you master a phrase or a concept, you are not merely advancing. You are enriching your life and the lives of those you communicate with. So, take heart. If the path feels arduous, remember, the path is made by walking, and as you walk, Know that each step brings you closer to a broader horizon. In conclusion, may your journey with English be one of discovery, delight, and growth. And may you, in mastering this language, expand the limits of your world. Well, that's my perspective on elevating your English proficiency. I wish you success.
Teacher 3.
Greetings, dear learners of the English language. As I sit to share my reflections on this endeavor, I cannot help but approach it with the same methodical reasoning that governs my inquiries into human understanding. Mastery of a language is, after all, an undertaking of profound significance, for it enables the expression of thought, the vehicle of human freedom. Allow me, then, to illuminate certain principles by which you may elevate your English to new heights. To begin with, consider the imperative of consistency. Progress in language demands regular and deliberate effort. Read widely and attentively, selecting texts that challenge yet inspire you. A daily engagement with English, whether through literature, journalism, or academic prose, nurtures not only vocabulary, but also a sensitivity to idiomatic structures. This habit forms the cornerstone of linguistic mastery. Furthermore, let us ponder the principle of practical application. Theory divorced from practice is hollow, and the study of grammar without application leads nowhere. Make it a rule to converse in English whenever possible, for language thrives not in isolation, but in dialogue. By speaking, you acquaint yourself with the cadence and rhythm of the language, sharpening both comprehension and fluency. Consider also the necessity of reflection. In your pursuit of English, you must analyze your own errors not with despair, but as opportunities for enlightenment. To err, in this context, is not a failure, but a vital step toward clarity. Writing is particularly suited for this purpose. Compose essays, journals, or even letters, and examine them critically to refine your expression. Moreover, let us not overlook the value of engagement with diverse perspectives. The English language spans cultures and histories, each bearing unique expressions of thought. Explore poetry, delve into philosophy, and immerse yourself in various dialects. Such an approach not only broadens your understanding, but also hones your ability to articulate nuanced ideas, a skill indispensable in the realm of critical thought. Lastly, I must emphasize the importance of patience and perseverance. Just as the moral law within us reveals itself gradually, so too does linguistic mastery unfold over time. Resist the urge to seek shortcuts, for the path to true understanding demands both time and effort. In summation, mastering English is not merely a utilitarian goal, but a profound exercise in the cultivation of human reason and expression. Adhere to these principles, and you will not only achieve linguistic competence, but also gain deeper insight into the very nature of communication and thought. I leave you with this. The journey to mastery is itself an end, for in striving, we shape the contours of our understanding. May your efforts be as rewarding as they are enlightening.
Teacher 4.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. As someone who has spent years teaching English to learners from all walks of life, I've come to understand what works and, just as importantly, what doesn't. If you're looking to take your English skills to the next level, let me share a few practical tips to guide you on this exciting journey. First of all, immerse yourself in the language as much as possible. It's often said, practice makes perfect, and I'd argue this is particularly true with English. Surround yourself with the language. Read newspapers, watch movies, and listen to podcasts. Choose materials slightly above your current level to challenge yourself without feeling overwhelmed. This will not only broaden your vocabulary, but also sharpen your understanding of different accents and expressions. Next, don't underestimate the power of consistent practice. Even if you only have 15 minutes a day, use that time wisely. Write a short paragraph, revise grammar rules, or practice speaking aloud. Language learning thrives on regular effort. It's better to study a little every day than to cram for hours once a week. Remember, small steps taken consistently lead to great strides over time. Another tip is to focus on fluency before perfection. Many learners get stuck worrying about making mistakes. Let me tell you this. Mistakes are not failures, they're stepping stones to success. Communicate first, refine later. The more you use the language, the more natural it will feel, and accuracy will follow. Furthermore, expand your vocabulary and context. Rather than memorizing long lists of words, learn phrases and collocations that naturally go together. For instance, instead of learning draw on its own, learn draw up a plan or draw attention to something. This not only makes your speech more fluent, but also helps you sound more natural. Another key point: make speaking a priority. It's easy to fall into the trap of passive learning, reading and listening, but speaking is where real progress happens. Join conversation groups, take online lessons, or simply talk to yourself in English. Yes, it might feel awkward, but the more you speak, the more confident you'll become. In addition to all this, don't forget to enjoy the process. Learning a language should be fun, not a chore. Find topics you're passionate about and engage with them in English. Whether it's sports, cooking, or history, connecting language learning to your interests keeps you motivated and engaged. Finally, be patient with yourself. Language mastery takes time, and progress isn't always linear. You'll have good days and bad days, but don't let frustration get the better of you. Celebrate your achievements, no matter how small they seem, and keep pushing forward. To wrap up, taking your English to the next level requires dedication, consistent effort, and a willingness to step out of your comfort zone. The journey may not be easy, but it's incredibly rewarding. And remember, I'm rooting for you every step of the way. Good luck and keep going. You've got this.
Thank you for listening to English Audio Lounge. We hope you have enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more audio stories and video classes to improve your English.